Hello, everyone, and welcome to World Hippo Day. Yay! And I know for a fact some of the zoos in the States are celebrating Hippo Day. There's a few that have some very fun hippo personalities, so that could be fun to look up if you follow any zoos or anything. But again, these animals really do need a change for the most part. It's it's a sad fact of our world at this point where there's a lot of species that are in need of some sort of help or intervention. The hippos I know are currently vulnerable status. So yeah, I built a habitat, which actually this is probably one of the few habitats where I could have built them a little bit bigger, but I haven't really built a lot of water habitats at this point yet. And there's, with the aquatic pack update, there's a difference between like just the swimmable water area and like the deep diving part. So the hippos don't need deep water, they just need a fairly large body of water to swim in. And I kind of have figured out through trial and error that, you can carve out the part with that one tool, and then you can kind of create a divot next to it and then smooth it all out to give it a little bit better of a shape. I'm not gonna lie, not great at terrain still. My habitats are still pretty flat, but I justified it by saying, zebras live in grasslands and hippos live, in the water. Like, what? Do they really have hills? So I am hoping as we go through some more of these animals that I kind of do a little better with giving them a little bit more accurate of a terrain and everything's not just flat, and more flat. But again, it's the same premise where, we focus on their needs, making sure they have a lot of like the enrichment items and more than enough space and everything that they need. And again, you'll notice there's a couple of points in the video where I have to go back through and check on the zebras and the bonobos or whatever. But it was interesting building for the hippos. They were a little different. Everything had to be a little bit bigger. All of their enrichment items were obviously that a little bit bigger. So I was just making sure they had enough stuff. And I like to be, animal focused versus people focused, especially with this zoo. So I do go through and I try to make sure they've got everything they need and their habitat is all set up and everything. And then I go through and worry about, the guests and putting in the education. And then I do really try to give that environment more of the natural look to it. I am still trying to figure out with this game, like, the staff buildings and, like, how best to do staff paths and things like that. Like, is it better just to do a bigger main path and have the staff paths leading off of that main path? Or is it better to do it how I've kind of been doing it, where they have their own sort of pathing network overall with very few intersections to the main path? So I'm still experimenting with that too in terms of this game. But a thing I've been trying to do subtly too with this is kind of look a little bit at the breeding and conservation efforts too while I've been playing. So you can release animals into the wild as you're playing this game, which is an interesting mechanic. So that's still in the back of my head too, because that's not a mechanic I've really obviously played with that much. But I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys have been enjoying this series that I started, and it's not really gonna be like a consistent every Friday or anything like that. It's gonna be, on the best that I can on the day that animal is celebrated or acknowledged, or, their awareness day. And I'll try to release these videos not at the same time as a normally scheduled video, if it's like a Monday through Friday when I would ordinarily have, Guild Wars or Overlord or Tomb Raider or something. So, yeah. But it's been it's been a fun experience. I have liked it, and the Zoopedia does actually, the little book that they give you to read about the animals actually does provide with quite a bit of information, and I like being able to go through and read the different conservation boards, which I do a little bit in this one as well. And I will say, if you're not great at building and there's, you have a specific idea in your head about what you want to do, I highly recommend looking at the Steam workshop for Planet Zoo. There are so many talented creators that post stuff on there that, if you own Planet Zoo, you can subscribe and it puts the item right in your blueprint section for you. And you'll notice here that I have actually found a couple of things from the Steam workshop. There was a couple of like fountains and decorative centerpieces for the hippos that they had already put together, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So I was like, yeah, let's just save me some trouble and I'll do this. And with this area too, I had to remember, this is technically a zoo with a zoo mechanic. Guests do, need something. So I thought with this underwater viewing part, which came out a little better than I was expecting, but it still needs some work. I didn't leave it the best by the end of this video, but it was not the worst. So, also, I don't know how I feel about this song I put in the background. Not what I was expecting, but you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Sometimes that's relevant, sometimes it's not. And so it's also a matter to figuring out what is stressful for the animals on this game. I do know that they can be stressed out, but I haven't really experienced that yet. But they have this thing where guests can enter habitats. So there must be some sort of like petting zoo or something. I just haven't come across those animals yet. I don't know. You're obviously not going to go into the hippo pen. That's just crazy talk. If you don't know, hippos can be aggressive. So yeah, I was experimenting a little bit, and this was just all the African pre-built stuff that they gave you. Like, it wasn't workshop or anything I had built. These particular stalls were just stuff that they had provided. And I kind of realized, like, oh, the people are swarming it instantly. So as we go through this zoo, it's kind of making sure we have those sections for people, but I still want to be able to have those sections be educational. And actually, looking back at this footage, I have to go through And I think add a few more things to be really happy with it. But I do want this, like, even though it's based on each day and I'm sort of building it based on, you know, these days that I'm getting off of, you know, the animal conservations, I do want to make it a functional zoo. I do want to make it, you know, a zoo focused on conservation. I mean, most zoos are focused on conservation and animal well-being, and it's not like I'm playing in a sandbox mode. Like, I have unlimited funds, and, you know, when I pull up the little zoo button, you'll see, like, negatives galore. So, obviously, zoos cannot honestly function like that, but it's nice to just build what you want to build. So yeah, I had lots of fun with this. I hope you guys have been enjoying watching at least a little bit. So thank you so much if you've made it this far and listened to me ramble for 11 minutes. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day. Bye guys.